And it's funny because the jealousy was actually like more of a driving force than anything else. If girls see other hot girls that are interested in you, it's, you know, I think the most powerful like driving factor, like more so than the money and the fame and all the other.
Are you the modern day Hugh Hefner? And like that image, one guy with like 8 women, like you do or Hef does.
Yeah.
I mean, that does everyone's head in, right? And in the Puritan America with, you know, family values, you know, why is that such a hard thing for people to get their head around? And what are you telling them?
I don't know. I mean, I think like recently society has said certain things are okay and certain things are super bad that had been going on for like thousands of years. Like back in the day, I mean, it was normal for a person to have more than one wife. I think it's more normal than people lead on. I mean, if you look at, you know, in the animal kingdom, I mean, there's one stud animal that has sex with, you know, most of the, you know, females. And I think in our society, it's actually, you know, that is actually what happens. It's just not necessarily broadcasted as much. It's not kind of put out there. But I think 5% of the guys have sex with like pretty much all the girls. So I think it's been happening, and I think it happens like that. I just think, and I also think it's a little bit counterproductive to post about it, because I think a lot of these guys, you know, would do it a little bit more on the slick. And I've always just been like, fuck it. Like I always tell the girls the truth. So I never lied about anything. Which surprisingly made it easier, actually. Or let's say if I asked my girl, like a girl that I was dating, like, hey, how many guys do you have sex with last week? And she told me I had sex with 6 guys last week. I'd know she was telling me the truth, right? Because like no girl would like lie in that direction, you know? Or if I said, how many guys have you had sex with your whole life? And she told me, you know, 537. Like I would know she's telling me the truth. So I think when these girls ask me questions and I tell them answers that they, you know, normally wouldn't want to hear, it builds trust. So it's like a strange thing. But it's, you know, it's a little counterintuitive.
And why do they stay? Why do they stay?
I think different reasons. You know, some of them want to be famous. Some of them are having fun. Some of them genuinely like me. Some of them just enjoy the lifestyle. Some of them are there for the adventure. Some of them are there because they're not supposed to be there. A lot of them come because they've broken up with a boyfriend and want to piss him off. That's like the number one, I think.
Are you always looking for more girls, or is it like a cap, or do you have too many?
It's money and girls, like a black hole. There's just never, I feel like there's never enough. Like like you just never feel like you have enough money. You never feel like you've hooked up with enough girls. I don't know, it's a weird thing.
And that's still the case today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little overloaded right now, but I feel like you're still like, I don't know. I mean, every girl's different, so it's always a different experience, you know?
Would you say you're addicted to sex?
Yeah. Well, it's a weird addiction, because it's one that like I feel like a lot of guys would have, but they just can't. You know, it's like, you know, I feel like it's weird. Almost all guys, I feel like, don't have as much sex as they would want. Like, and that goes for like even the 5%, I think.
Yeah, I think that's why they watch you, right?
Well, I'm saying like even the 5% of guys that are having sex with all the girls, like even the super famous guys, like they're still like, in fact, like a lot of those guys chase as much as the guy at the bar that has sex once a year.
And
strange thing.
What are your thoughts on marriage?
I don't see a ton of upside in it for, you know, a guy in my position, but I guess if you lived in the Midwest and you wanted to have a family and you wanted to have kids, it would make sense.
But otherwise, it's a gamble on 50% of your assets.
It's a big bet, man. You know, you're betting that you're going to love her forever. And I mean, you're also involved in the government. Like if you want to get a divorce, you have to ask the government for permission. So I don't know. I think just that dynamic alone makes both people feel like kind of trapped in the situation a little bit. So I think when you put somebody in a situation where they can't escape or they have no out, it makes them kind of want to get out. I don't know. I just think the whole kind of idea is a little bit flawed. So
there's a lot of these like invisible contracts that we have, like marriage or boyfriends and being faithful and
well, I don't know if the marriage one is too invisible. I mean, that's like kind of like
maybe that's visible, but
yeah, you got to go to court. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a whole process. Like if you decide, like if you catch her fucking the plumber, it's not like you can just walk. Like no, you have to go to court. You have to talk to the government. You have to give her a certain amount. Like you have to agree on. It's just a whole process, right? Like just split up the house. I mean, it's just so different than dating. It's just so many more serious implications.
And you said even before that some people are just in relationships and they stay in them because they just, you know, don't have better options and they're just trying to be nice.
You've done your research. Yeah. No, I think...
but you kind of blow through all of those.
I think it was laziness. I think that's probably one of the... If I were to say the main reason people stay in relationships, I think it's laziness. Because I think there's a decent amount of them that are unhappy or that would be happy with somebody else, but they're kind of, you know, they're afraid of the unknown or they're comfortable or whatever.